Alright guys, TouchGrabber back again today. Hope you're enjoying your Friday so far and looking forward to the weekend. Today we're going to talk about Patrick, ACHES, Price and Christopher Parasite Duarte. A few days ago, Los Angeles Guerrillas officially announced that they were releasing ACHES from his contract with the LAG. He was a player right at the start of the season, they was moved on to the bench, and from there never got his opportunity once again in the starting lineup, even though you could argue that maybe that kind of veteran leadership would have got this team above 12th in the CDL standings as they sit going into champs. We talked at the time about the potential next steps for ACHES, right? Potentially caster, potentially analyst, right? Who knows exactly what the talent desk looks like for next season, but also will he get back into playing, right? Or will he be a coach for a professional team? Or is Black Ops Cold War going to fit his playstyle, more favorably than a Modern Warfare, and potentially he'll come back into competing. He has now announced, or a few days ago, this past weekend of the Toronto home series, he actually did play in the amateur side. We're going to talk about exactly how that went down, what potential next steps are, and of course talking about moving forwards to the Challengers Championship, because ACHES, given that he has a lot of pro points from his events this season, he has actually put his team in a pretty good position in terms of seeding for the World Championship. So maybe having ACHES won the World Championship in 2014 in Ghosts, and then 2018 in World War II, who knows if he'll manage to take down the World Championship and the Challengers side at the very least in the Call of Duty Modern Warfare season. That would be quite the turn up for the books. Like, if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's hop into things first of all then. So just wanted to talk real quick about the Toronto home series past weekend amateur results. And then in a few minutes time, we'll have a look at exactly how ACHES' team got on this past weekend. Down in the APAC region, once again, Renegades winner. I think they've won like 17 in a row, or just something outrageous, the amount these guys have won in a row. Definitely some talented players on this team. Hopefully, of course, like the pandemic situation hasn't helped, but hopefully these guys might get an opportunity next season, or at least some of these guys potentially. We've seen it with Paris Legion. I'd be really interested to see how this team would do against, like, a Los Angeles Guerrillas or something, right? Like, how would they actually compete if there was a fair matchup that we could do on LAN? Same thing really in the European region, right? We've had Team War dominating for the past few months. Dave, Vortex, Denza, Horrid Harry, and Afro now on the squad, so they've still been doing very well. I think they had to come through the losers bracket to win this one against Train Hard, with Hydra on the team, definitely a young talent over in the French region. Brezzy as well, of course, on this squad. And this Team Singularity squad with Chain back on the team, coming in at third place. So a few days ago, we have this announcement from Spacely. By the way, playing this home series / champs with ACHES, Mike Apox, Profizi, and TCM. So Profizi, of course, Get Busy, the Get Busy squad that's been around back in the day. That's always kind of what it's called. So ACHES X Profizi, pretty intense squad, to be honest. And then we get this that comes out from Parasite on screen. So ACHES is apparently playing in challenges with Profizi, Apox plus Spacely plus TCM. And what Parasite has to say about this is pretty entertaining. That ACHES came to Haggy for some tips.
Oh my god, ACHES is in the AM scene, bro.
Yeah, he was asking me for tips yesterday on Dead Zone.
Wait, no way he's playing it.
He is. He's playing with Profizi.
Playing with Profizi, ACHES, Apox, and fuck. I can't remember the fifth.
So pretty funny, really, given that ACHES hasn't played the game since February. Or, yeah, he's probably played the game, but he hasn't played at a professional level since February. So it's kind of understandable that he might need to get some insight from Haggy, a guy who he kind of prides himself, does Parasite, on knowing the spawns and knowing all the little intricacies of the game. And fair play, like, he definitely has more knowledge than a lot of professional players, I would imagine, in that vicinity. But, Patty ACHES was talking about the dead zone mechanic. So I think they introduced this after ACHES was dropped off the team, maybe like March or April sometime. They added this dead zone mechanic into Modern Warfare. Basically what it means is, I'm not exactly sure what you're meant to do in terms of, like, is it better to be high or low, but I'm pretty sure the at least what it means in theory is that when you move your thumbstick, like, to the right or to the left or whatever, there is a dead zone where it won't respond, right? Like, I'm pretty sure every controller has some built-in dead zone where, like, you can move a fraction and it won't do anything until it gets to a certain point away from the center. And I think the this game allows you to, like, manually increase that if you wanted to. Now, I'm not exactly sure the benefits or the cost of this, but of course, he was talking to Parasite about it, and as he then expands on Reddit, that we'll look at here. TLDR, I didn't have any intention on playing in challenges at all upon parting with Los Angeles Guerrillas. However, Spacely reached out to me and asked if I would be down to play if he found players. I said sure, as I have like 40,000 pro points. I haven't been able to compete since February, so for the sake of something to do, an attempt to make some cash since we auto qualify for finals, champs effectively, they're calling it finals this year, but it's challenges, champs, I guess finals makes more sense. I figured it would be fun. However, Haggy is def dragging that I asked for tips. I asked him how Dead Zone works because I never got the concept. So yeah, I think Patrick ACHES is talking about a similar thing really here to what Sensu has said earlier in the season. The fact, or at least has been talked about with regards to Sensu, the fact that you're getting pro points for just being a professional substitute by not even playing at these events, right? So Sensor, there was talk earlier this season, the fact that like Doug and all the other Pro League substitutes had just got gifted a whole load of pro points, and the Challengers guys weren't able to do that, and therefore like guys like Sensor or other teams could just, or other players in that position, could just easily get onto great Challengers teams because they have all the pro points, and therefore you're going to get them a great seeding for future events and also at the finals. Same sort of situation here, but you know, pretty cool though that Paddy P can just sit on the bench the entire season and then get into a squad and actually make a run of the Challengers Champs. It does feel to me more like if you're a Pro League substitute, you should have the opportunity to go onto a Challengers team with some younger guys and like make it back to the top, I suppose, in that sense. So this is what ACHES talks about here. He then follows up with this. I didn't need tips on what I should do. I wanted an explanation of how exactly it worked in this case. And this is how it finished off of the Toronto home series. So not the best weekend for ACHES and Co. They finish here the Get Busy team in top 16. ACHES, Abox, Profizi, Spacely, and TSM, the 5-star team with Exotic Fire. And well, Parasite and Co. actually ended up taking the win in this one. And then the Atlanta FaZe Academy with Paul X. But I'm not exactly sure what's going on with this Atlanta FaZe Academy right now, because there was a story that came out a couple of days ago showing that Sibilance may be back in the starting lineup for this team. I'll probably talk about that later today. Intrigued to hear your thoughts on that one as well when that video does go live. This is from the official Challengers Call of Duty League list of all the amateur teams. So as you can see, ACHES, Apox, Spacely, Profizi, and TCM, they are in the 7th position in terms of seeding for the entire year. So ACHES hasn't played any Challengers, he hasn't played any professional games. However, he still has a lot of pro points to get a team like this up to a pretty decent seeding. Now, the top 24 teams in terms of pro points in the European and the North American region auto-qualify for the World Championships, at least on the Challenger side. And then there's a last chance qualifier coming up this weekend to determine exactly what the final teams will be. Now that's the thing with this entire Atlanta FaZe Sibilant situation. If they were to bring it back, which is obviously an interesting situation in itself, given what we talked about a few days ago, I'll expand on this later today. But if they were to bring him back, that's then a different team that they were using at the Toronto home series, and therefore they have to go through the last chance qualifier to qualify, rather than being auto-qualified if you stick with your team from Toronto and still have enough pro points to get into the top 24. So this weekend there's going to be this last chance qualifier going on. I saw that iHold Shift is going to be covering this one as well, so super happy for him. Same thing with Spaceman back for the LCQ, and you know, as Shift says in this one, he's going to be casting the finals as well, so that's definitely a good sign to see. And well, here we go then. So the last chance qualifier is going to be the top 24 teams, or any team outside of the top 24 in North America, top 24 in Europe, and outside the top 12 in Asia Pacific. Any team can go along to these things. So I suppose if you're a pretty good squad and you wanted to make a change, and ACHES team clearly aren't making a change, they're just going to stick through this one, even though they got top 16, maybe they could find someone better. But the problem is, if you then change, you have to go through the LCQ and risk not actually qualifying, right? Whereas if you are a good team, maybe you're thinking, yeah, okay, we can probably get through the LCQ no problem at all, and we won't have any issues about it. Whereas maybe ACHES and Co are thinking, well, damn, if we do make a change, then is that actually going to potentially cost us, right? Are we not going to be able to get through the LCQ? Like, are we a good enough team right now? Or do we just take our guaranteed spot to the finals and see how much prize money we can potentially extract from the Challengers side? And this is what it looks like then for the World Championship. So the top 24 in the Challengers points auto qualify, as we just looked at. We'll have a look at that list in greater detail later today. 8 teams then from the LCQ, and 32 teams total then from North America. So the top 8 teams of the LCQ qualify. Of course, ACHES and Co are already guaranteed in there because they have the 7th seed with all the pro points that they have amassed. Same thing in Europe, 32 teams, 16 teams in the Asia Pacific region as well. And this is what it looks like in the US. So pro points number 8 right now, even though it looked like there were 7 in that list. For some reason on Gamepedia, they're appearing as number 8. So maybe something's not exactly correct. But these teams will fight it out to the death a few weekends time on the 15th and the 16th of August. So this is going to be a couple of weekends time from now. This weekend is the last chance qualifier. 2 weekends time we then have the Challengers finals. A weekend after that we have the first one of champs, or the first weekend of champs, the playoffs effectively. And then a weekend after that we have the final championship with the final 4 teams battling it down. If you're not exactly sure how the champs format's going on, it's pretty interesting this year. But the prize pool pretty impressive, right? Like, let's say Paddy P and Co managed to get top 8. That's 10 grand between them, 2 grand each. Not a bad payday given you haven't played the game pretty much the entire season. Just to finish off the video, I wanted to talk about this. I'm sure you guys from Canada know who Mitch Marner is. Plays, I believe I looked it up for the Toronto Maple Leafs, the National Hockey League team. And I thought this is pretty interesting because I saw some discussion about this. He's now a part owner of Ultra and the Toronto Defiant, both owned by like Overactive Media, formerly partnership with Splice and this kind of stuff. That's who the Ultra management group are right now. Interesting that this would happen. I saw some discussion on Reddit around people who are like fans of different hockey teams and weren't particularly happy that he was associating with the Ultra or whatever, given the whole situation. But yeah, if you guys are aware of this. I'd be intrigued to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you think this is a good move? Do you think it's a bad move? But once again, another indication of, well, some pretty popular sports stars getting involved in the esports arena. And, well, we've seen this a number of times over the last few years. I imagine it will continue through the franchise season as well, because definitely these franchises do have some sort of home nature to them and do make it, I suppose, easier for sports stars or whatever that happen to play in that region to get behind esports. And as we talked about a few days ago, Ultra looking to build a 7,000 to 10,000 seater arena right on the front there. And, you know, maybe this will help them in that venture. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Tune in later today. I will see you next time.
One shot. Who's in construction? He's one shot. Kill him. Oh, 2000 teamwork. 2000. Oh no, bro. Top plat. Top plat, Brandon. Yo, I need an exorcism. Yo, back door, back construction. He's holding a.
Yo, you guys all play right.
Oh, no.
I'm front. You guys all play right. I'm just gonna hide ammo.
Okay, Papa. He's gonna be back construction.
Where is he, bro?